Hello, and welcome everyone to today's webinar on how your National School Safety Center serves institutions of higher education. We are so happy to have you joining us today. My name is Bronwyn Roberts, and I am the Project Director of the REMS TA Center. This webinar is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Safe and Supportive Schools and its Readiness and Emergency Management for Schools Technical Assistance Center, or the REMS TA Center, or REMS for short. Before we get started, we want to share the following tips about interacting with this event. Available in the Files pod on your screen are relevant handouts that we've uploaded for you. Select the name of the handouts you'd like to review and click the Download File button. Please feel free to share these with your colleagues, partners, and education agencies. These are yours to use as you'd like. In the Web Links pod, you'll find relevant web pages. Select the name of the web page you would like to see and click the Browse To button. Please feel free to explore these pages as well and also share these with others. You'll find that as a theme throughout today. And then the Q&A pod is the corner that you can use to communicate directly with us, your webinar presenters. Also, if you do have any technical difficulties during the event, please use the Q&A pod to let us know. As a reminder, the audio is provided through the computers. If you're having any difficulty, please turn up your computer speaker volume at this time. Again, the Q&A pod is there for you to send a message to us. You can send us questions at any time during the webinar, and we are going to answer them, time permitted, at the end. After the live event, you can send us any questions via our help desk at info@remstacenter.org. I'm happy to now introduce my co-presenters for today. We have Janelle Hughes, who is the TA Center's Deputy Project Director. And she helps us carry out the Department of Education's aims for the center to provide TA and training on K-12 and higher ed preparedness to local, regional, state, territorial, and tribal education and emergency management agencies. We also have Allison Curtis, who is the Information and Product Manager at the REMS TA Center, overseeing the development of our suite of EOP interactive tools, the collection and distribution of resources that we share with the field, and the management of the TA Center's website. And as I mentioned, my name is Bronwyn Roberts, and I am the Project Director, and I've had the pleasure of serving the department and the center since 2007. We're also joined today by a very special guest, Madeline Sullivan from the U.S. Department of Education. Madeline is a Management and Program Analyst at the department's Office of Safe and Supportive Schools, and she takes on many roles there, leading a coordinated federal effort on school preparedness and administering the REMS TA Center. Madeline, would you like to say a few words today?
Thank you, Bronwyn, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We are so happy to have you, and we welcome your feedback. Today's webinar, you're going to learn mostly about the REMS TA Center services and products, and these have been mostly produced in response to requests from actual practitioners like yourself. So we encourage you to send us an email and follow us on Twitter following the webinar, and to stay engaged with us and let us know what's working and what services you'd like more of and what topics you would like us to address in the future. Without you, we aren't serving you, and that's our goal. So thank you again, and now I'll pass it back to Bronwyn.
Thank you, Madeline. So the REMS TA Center is administered by and works in partnership with U.S. Department of Education's Office of Safe and Supportive Schools, as you just heard us say, to help education agencies with their community partners manage safety, security, and emergency preparedness programs. And this is done by building the preparedness capacity, including prevention, protection, mitigation, response, and recovery efforts of institutions of higher education, K-12 schools, school districts, and their community partners at the local, state, and federal levels. The department established the REMS TA Center in 2004, which means that we have been serving you as your National School Safety Center for 16 years. And throughout this time, we've really had the honor of serving the field by providing resources, training, and information, all completely free of charge. And we just want to make one clarification. When you hear us say school throughout this presentation or anywhere on our website, if you see that, we do mean both K-12 and higher ed, because we do serve both populations. In our work, we will clarify the K-12 audience using K-12 schools and districts if we mean specifically K-12, and the higher ed audience by saying higher ed or IHEs for institutions of higher education. when the information we provide is specific to one of these sectors. So you'll hear me go back and forth on that during this presentation today. So some of our work specific to the higher ed audience has revealed needs from the field in creating and updating plans and policies, coordinating emergency management efforts across multiple campuses, training faculty, staff, students, and emergency management staff, and getting buy-in from leadership and general recognition on campus. We've also heard some challenges that IHEs are facing include staff burnout, turnover, or lack of staff, student protests, managing sporting events and other large-scale events like graduation, and the mental health of students, just to name a few examples. So we really try to stay in connection with the field, to learn about what those emerging issues are from you so that we can best shape our resources to support you. And we look forward to focusing on providing support on these topics and many more as we move forward. And we'll tell you about some of those that we already have ready for you. So to learn more about our services and resources, the best place to start is really our website. And you can find everything we'll discuss today on our website, whether it's there for you to use right now or a link to learn more about it for future use. We do update content there regularly, for example, changing information on the homepage monthly. So we do encourage you to check back regularly. You can see, first up, there is a sliding carousel there. We do promote recently released resources there and things like current national campaigns. Below the carousel, you will find upcoming events listed, things that you can participate in, such as webinars, web chats, and awareness days. We have all of the federal guides on school safety topics listed there for quick access. We have our hashtag REMS on the Road locations where we list our trainings by request and conference participation across the nation. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And then quick links to pages on the website. So we really try to make the homepage an easy gateway to the rest of our most used and useful resources. One way that you can always find out where we are and what we have going on is to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @REMSTA Center, and we post daily to promote resources and engage in discussions on relevant safety topics. And today, all of you are invited to join us on Twitter immediately following this webinar to ask us questions using hashtag #ChatWithREMS. So that was really a quick overview of who we are and where to find us. And before we take a look at the agenda for the rest of today's webinar, we'd like to get a sense of your familiarity with us already by asking you to respond to our poll question. So how familiar are you with the REMS TA Center? You can select all that apply. Have you visited the website? Have you used the tools, trainings, and resources, attended a previous webinar, requested TA, hosted a training by request yourself already, met our staff out on the road, or you're just here to learn more, which hopefully everybody is anyway. Great. Looks like a lot of you have been to the website already. Thank you so much. And used some of our trainings or participated in webinars. It's great to see. And here to learn more. Well, we're definitely going to help you out with that today. So now for the rest of our time today, we're going to share more information on all the different free services that the REMS TA Center offers, including strategies for using them and examples of how we have helped education agencies. Also, we're going to be asking you questions along the way so that we can get to know more about you. We've grouped our services into 3 categories: training, tools, and resources, both in this presentation and on our website. So you'll see some easy parallel there if you go on the website after this to find out something that we talked about today. And then also we'll share more about engagement opportunities that we have to offer you and your partners. And now I'd like to turn it over to Allison to talk about our tools.
Thanks, Bronwyn, and hi, everyone. We're excited to talk to you about all of the free resources and products that we offer you. So we've created several downloadable and online tools, which are essentially actionable resources that you can use to interact with the subject matter or with your colleagues. We've created many EOP interactive tools. Some may be used online while others are downloadable, like our mobile application. And we offer a toolbox, which is a virtual library of tools, many of which are downloadable. And our community of practice is a platform to communicate with others online via our website. So first, let's talk about our suite of EOP interactive tools. we've created these emergency management planning tools to support you in a variety of your activities. They're intended to be used by practitioners with any level of experience in emergency management, and they may be used to revise EOPs, enhance your capacity, examine your buildings and grounds, and engage in learning opportunities. Many of these apps generate custom downloadable reports, such as copies of your assessment results. Two of our web apps are EOP Assess and EOP Evaluate, and you can access them directly on our website using an internet connection. Each tool is customized for higher ed, and when you first access the tools, you select higher ed in the drop-down menu to go through information that's specific to IHEs. EOP Assess helps you assess your understanding of elements that are critical to the process of creating and maintaining a high-quality plan. It generates a customized and downloadable report with information and resources on fundamental concepts in emergency management planning. And EOP Evaluate can help your planning team evaluate your existing EOP against federal guidelines. It also generates a customized and downloadable report with information and resources that your planning team may use to enhance areas of your plan. And both tools only require a computer and an internet connection, as well as a PDF viewer. Our newest tool is SiteAssess, which is a free mobile application that you can download from the Google Play or Apple App Stores. Use this app to conduct a site assessment at your education agency and examine the safety, security, accessibility, and emergency preparedness of your buildings and grounds. While it was originally designed for K-12 schools, we expanded SiteAssess in 2018 to incorporate higher ed into the app. IHEs are able to conduct a site assessment of multiple buildings and grounds, collect information that will help fulfill CLARI Act requirements, and access resources specific to higher ed. We welcome any feedback that you may have on the app and how we can further enhance it to meet your needs. SiteAssess contains over 1,300 questions and allows you to collect responses and take photos that are saved directly in the app as you walk around your campus. All you need is a mobile device, such as a tablet or a smartphone, that has iOS or Android operating systems, and all the data that you collect and store within the app are stored on your device only, and the REMS-Ts and our Northern U.S. Department of Education are able to see any of your data besides the basic contact information that you provide when you first install the app and register for its free use. So we'd like to gauge your familiarity with SiteAssess via another poll question. Let us know if you have heard of it, whether or not you've downloaded it. Have you opened it up on your device? Have you used it to conduct a site assessment, or are you just looking forward to checking it out? See, a lot of people are looking forward to checking it out and downloading it in the future. Some people have heard of it. A few have opened it up on your device. It's a very powerful tool that we created, we expanded for higher ed because we were hearing from the field that it was already very useful. And so we're always looking for ways to improve the tool. And if you have any ideas on what you want to share with us, we really welcome you to send us a note and provide your feedback. We're always looking to learn from you.
And Allison is actually available to provide technical assistance on it. So for those of you that have downloaded it and maybe opened it but not used it, we do have folks here available to help you. So if you need to, some help getting to that next step, we would love to help you out with that. Just follow up and contact us following the event.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bronwyn. So all of these interactive tools that we just discussed briefly can be used strategically to enhance your education agency's capacity. We really invite you to think about how you can use them at your site to accomplish your preparedness goals. So to start, EOP Assess is a great tool to start to use as you implement step one, form a collaborative planning team. all of your planning team members can go through the assessment and make sure that you're all using the same terminology and are on the same page. And if you already have a plan, EOP Evaluate is a great place to start. It will inform your plan revision process and then help you identify gaps that you can address and overall just improve your plan according to best practices. And then as we mentioned, we have SiteAssess, which is a powerful tool that you can use to document conditions before an emergency occurs. And the photos captured within the app are particularly useful that will provide you with some proof that you may need to file insurance claims and request disaster recovery fundings. And in some cases, you may be able to justify requests for funding and security enhancements by using this free tool. Any of these tools can be used to provide proof of, to your insurance provider, to your leadership, your board of regents, et cetera, to show that you're actively trying to address and improve your campus's safety. And over time, you can also document improvement. For example, the Excel worksheet that's exported from SiteAssess can be used to compare and analyze data across buildings and across time, as well as develop programs. So as I mentioned, we have received a lot of feedback from the field on SiteAssess that it's very easy to use and it contains a lot of great information for higher ed to enhance their safety. Essentially, it empowers IHEs to identify areas of improvement on their buildings and on their campuses. So in one case, to cite an example, we had a higher ed institution, Sargent, use SiteAssess to conduct a site assessment of a hospital or clinic on campus, as well as another building that had been broken into. And the assessment results were then exported to a customized Word document output, which contains the photos that I mentioned collected in the app, and then submitted those to leadership. And the result was security upgrades for about $20,000 worth of funding that were approved to improve the building and grounds due to the reports that were generated from the app. And within the app, we've even created a tool that helps you build a plan for improving your facilities in the short term and in the long term. And to kind of end with a quote we heard from the user, that there's nothing out there for higher ed that's comparable. So our toolbox is another great resource that we have. It's a virtual library of tools developed for higher ed emergency managers in the field. And it contains sample drills, tabletops, and other exercises, job descriptions, memorandum of understanding with community partners, organizational charts, planning guidelines or sample policies, components of plans, tools, and templates. And it contains quite a bit. And these tools are for you to download, to customize, to use and assist you in your preparedness activities, such as hosting a tabletop exercise, scheduling a drill, revising your plan, developing a new annex, creating policies, or even planning training programs. We're always looking to grow our toolbox and invite you to share anything that you have created with us today. Our toolbox does contain over 100 resources, and to make it easier to find what you're looking for, we upgraded the toolbox last year to contain a new search engine. It allows you to search by keywords, by audience, language, topic area, file format, and type. And our community of practice is a virtual space for you to collaborate on special projects, to share news and resources, discuss trends and ideas, and learn from the experiences of others in the field. Start a topic and encourage your colleagues to join the conversation. All you need is an account to log in. In addition to the public forums that we've created, and you can create too, we have community huddles, which are private spaces. And these allow you to collaborate privately, to share documents and more with a certain group of people. And we're happy to create any community huddle for you and your group. Please just send us a request. We very much encourage you to take advantage of this private space and to create a community huddle for your planning team at the local, regional, or state level. In the past, we've created a community huddle for the state of Illinois to share some school safety information with higher ed. In order to maximize your membership and get in the habit of using the community of practice as your primary information sharing tool with your colleagues across the nation, we invite you to log in on a daily basis. Build a COP into your routine and don't be afraid to ask your peers for questions and share your thoughts. The more you engage, the more everyone really gets out of this tool. And we're currently working on creating an emergency management virtual toolkit to help institutions of higher education populate their own website with school safety content. The goal of this resource-based toolkit will be to allow higher ed agencies to quickly and easily promote and disseminate information that's current and consistent on higher ed emergency management to their constituents, to provide access to the latest information resources and training opportunities for their stakeholders, and to access the tools they need to engage in school safety efforts. So we'd like to get a sense from you and hear what you think we should create that addresses your needs. So what stakeholders do you think would benefit from accessing the latest information, the latest resources, the latest training opportunities at your campus? Your emergency management or campus safety staff? How about your senior leadership? Or maybe your faculty, staff in other departments at your campus? Or maybe even your student population? Sounds like definitely emergency management and campus safety staff could benefit from this information, as well as senior leadership. We know that senior leadership buy-in is incredibly important in emergency management across all schools, but specifically at the higher ed level. Thanks. Thank you for your answers. We appreciate the information. And that concludes our overview of tools. I'm going to hand things over to Janelle now to talk about our resources.
Thanks, Allison. The REMS TA Center has created several additional resources to assist you in your safety efforts. We created an entire section, which you'll be excited to see on our website, that features topic-specific resources and that houses online and downloadable resources on various topics in emergency management. We also write a variety of publications that you can read online or download, and we also created what we call our creative materials page, and that allows you to access email signature banners and web banners that will help you spread the word to the field about campus safety. Our State Emergency Management Resources section contains state-specific information and mandates related to school safety, and we also maintain a help desk to field your questions by phone or email. So we encourage you to reach out to us if you need support at any time. So just to dive a little deeper into each of those elements that we've just described, our topic-specific resources hub to start with contains resources from us, the U.S. Department of Education, and our federal agency partners, and we have more than 20 topics featured in that section, and it's constantly growing. Those resources have been vetted by our staff, so you can trust that they are relevant, and there are easily hundreds of resources on these web pages, and so we do encourage you to take time to explore them and to share what you find with your colleagues. As we mentioned before, we have written numerous fact sheets, resource lists, and other publications and newsletters with our partners that are based on research that we've conducted on topics within emergency management planning. These are all featured on our website along with guidance documents that support all of the various topic areas, and we'll go into more depth on these different types of publications. Starting with our fact sheets. And these explore key topics in higher ed preparedness and safety, security, and emergency management. And again, they're all based on research that we've conducted. And each topic that you see on your screen right now is featured in a separate fact sheet. And so that includes preparing for floods at IHEs, opioid-related emergencies, study abroad emergencies, which is a topic, obviously, that you've probably been hearing about in the news, cybersecurity considerations, as well as addressing access and functional needs within EOP. So these are all, I'm sure, topics that you are very familiar with. We also write and release tip sheets, resource lists, newsletters, and other special publications on topics such as those, again, that you see on your screen. And we're always looking for ideas on new topics that you'd like to consider and see. So please do not hesitate to share those with us. In 2013, the U.S. Department of Education worked with the U.S. Departments of Homeland Security, Justice, and Health and Human Services, as well as the Federal Emergency Management Agency and Federal Bureau of Investigation, so that's 6 agencies in total, to author the Guide for Developing High-Quality Emergency Operations Plans for Institutions of Higher Education. And we refer to that as the IHE Guide. And it's based on years of emergency management planning work by the federal government. You can find that on our website, and it's really integrated into all the work that we do. And you'll also find that transformed into an HTML at-a-glance version, and that's featured on our website as well. And you can access this guide from our homepage under Best Practices. As I mentioned before, we created web badges and email signature banners, and those are for use by you. So you just download the images, insert them into your email signature or onto your website, and then link them back to our website, rems.ed.gov. So they're really great tools to spread the word and build that preparedness capacity of agencies whom you interact with and support. Currently, we have materials that promote the My Preparedness Promise campaign, again, the IHE guide that we just described, the EOP interactive tools that Allison shared with you, as well as our community of practice. And we really do hope that you join that community. We're always looking for new members and new insight and lessons learned. And additionally, we have an infographic, and it's really interactive on our website, that shares emergency management resources, safety and security mandates, and agencies for each state. And we're working on updating the map this year to contain more higher ed resources. So if you see any updates for your state, please send them to us. We're always happy to update, and we really do need your help since you are really the expert of your own state. The Department of Education used to administer the Emergency Management for Higher Education grants, which went to IHEs to improve their emergency management programs. And so you can find lists of these prior grantees on this page. And that might be valuable to you in terms of finding contacts that might be able to support some of your current initiatives, or trying to find partners on the state level with whom you can connect. In fact, we'd like to get some feedback from you right now via another poll question. So what resources from your state do you use within your IHE? So for example, has your state education agency created resources, tools, training, guidance, or publications that you use, or does another state agency provide you with resources to support campus safety and emergency management? And if so, how would you describe them? And this could also include conferences or other networking opportunities. So please type in your answer and send it to us, and we'll be sharing the answers with the group so that we can all kind of get a sense. Resources and tabletop exercises, awesome. We always like to see those, and again, just a reminder that we have that toolbox, so if there are any exercise documents that you'd like to share that you think are valuable, please do not hesitate to share them with us. The State Emergency Management Division training, great to see that collaboration on the state level. I see a really interesting comment here. We're a private institution. We probably align more with the county that we're in. That's always awesome to see how those collaborations differ from state to state. The Web EOC, awesome. The Emergency Operations Center is always going to be a great support. Threat assessment conferences, we had the opportunity to attend a few of those this year, so great to see that as an example as well. The state emergency management agencies, trainings, exercises, workshops, regular meetings with local, state, and federal entities, and that's something that we also do and value. You know, those meetings are so important, as well as those exercises, workshops, and trainings. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you also, of course, for participating in today's webinar, which is a training that is supporting your capacity building. So thanks for participating in that poll. Really great to see what you shared. And just as a reminder, we maintain a toll-free phone line and email so that you can call out, email us, reach out anytime you need support. We're available, again, via phone or email to respond to your direct requests for technical assistance on a variety of topics, from questions about registering for a webinar or scheduling a training event to topical inquiries about new issues in emergency management. So just remember that we're always here to help you in your campus safety needs. So this concludes our overview of resources, and I'll turn things back to Bronwyn to discuss our training. Bronwyn?
Thanks, Janelle. So we do offer both in-person and online training opportunities and materials. Our trainings by request are an on-site, in-person training program, while our webinars, like this one, and online courses are accessible via the internet on your computer. I'm going to talk about each of these in a little bit more detail now. First, we'll talk about our trainings by request program. We offer in-person TBRs, what we call them, for free to institutions of higher education across the country. And how these events work is we provide 1 to 2 subject matter experts plus a REMS TA Center staff person to travel to your site and deliver the presentation. We manage the registration process, provide all of the materials that can be downloaded for your audience, and then send out certificates of attendance following the training. The host site education agency is only responsible for providing the facility and then bringing the minimum number of participants. And so we're proud to have delivered over 271 trainings and trained over 10,000 participants across our whole program since 2013. And we do have an entire team dedicated to ensuring that these trainings are a success. And we have a fantastic cadre of experts from around the country. So hopefully this will pique your interest in hosting one at your site. The topic that we have for the higher ed audience is called Developing Emergency Operations Plans, IHE 101, which we do offer in 2 different formats. The Train the Educator format is a 4-hour overview of recommended planning processes and key considerations for creating, revising, or enhancing higher ed EOPs. And so this one is intended to fit anywhere from 50 to 150 participants. And we've gotten some feedback from participants that the training is helpful for institutions that are just getting started creating their plans, as well as those who are revising their plans that want to get them aligned with the federal recommendations. The second type is the 101 Train the Trainer, which is a day-long version of the same topic, but that trains a cadre of master trainers who can then deliver the Train the Educator version to others in your institution, your community, or even across the state. And this training is intended for a little bit of a smaller audience, 25 to 50 participants, so that the expert trainers that we bring in can really focus on ensuring that the participants feel prepared to turn around and train following the event. And recently we've been able to share these trainings at higher ed institutions in Oregon, New York, California, North Dakota, Arizona, and we would love to come to your state next. So please visit the Trainings by Request section of our website to learn more and to request a training. So in addition to our in-person trainings, as I said, we do offer online trainings. For example, we regularly host webinars like this one with presentations from experts in the field. And all of our webinars are archived and accessible on our website for viewing at a later date. Most webinars are about 1 hour in length and cover a variety of topics. So participants can download a copy of the presentation, supplemental resource lists, and other online materials that enhance key learning objectives. And the same goes for this webinar. So in about 7 to 10 business days, we will have this posted on our website, and you'll be able to access all of that for the future. We do have over 50 webinars archived on our site currently. Some of the recent other topics that we've had include managing anniversaries and memorial events, supporting displaced students and families during and after emergency events. So we do encourage you to please check them out, and we've made that a little bit easier for you. We've recently added a new search engine, next slide please, to our webinars page. So you can use this engine to search by keyword, date hosted, topical area, or intended audience. And you can see at the top of the page, you can find out if we have an upcoming scheduled webinar, which makes it easy to see what's new and what's happening. You just click the Register Now button to sign up to attend, which you may have already done to attend this event. So we typically host webinars on a monthly basis, so this will change throughout the year. And again, another part of the website we encourage you to check back on regularly. So what we can use our webinars is that they can serve as learning opportunities to help expand your own knowledge of certain school safety topics. You can use them, like you said, anytime at home or work. They're available anytime, but we really encourage you to share them with others. For example, you can send the archived webinar link to your colleagues or even post them on your own website, or you could even use it during a meeting or training as a professional development activity. We do also offer an online course as another online learning opportunity for the higher ed audience. This course is self-paced and users must sign up for an account to access, but it's completely free. It just helps you to have an account because you can log in at any time and pick up where you left off or start a new course. Once the course is completed, a certificate of completion is generated, which you can print or save for your own records. And you also walk away with additional practical resources such as checklists and reference guides. The topic of this course is Developing Emergency Operations Plans 101, which sounds familiar, I know. That was the topic of the training by request I just mentioned, and they are aligned in topics. So it is also a 90 to 120-minute foundational course that provides users with a chance to learn about all aspects of emergency plan development, including forming a collaborative planning team, conducting assessments, and plan review, implementation, and maintenance. So if you're not able to host a TBR, or if you'd like to host the TBR on this topic and get your audience members prepped ahead of time, you could always send them this course to complete ahead of time, or just to complete this ahead of time yourself to know a little bit more about what the topic is about. Like I said, this is another example of a tool that you could use to help with professional development. You could provide incentives, for example, to others at your education agency to complete these trainings. You could collect the certificates that we issue as verification or to help maintain training records for your staff. I know that sometimes is a requirement at institutions. Again, you could share this on your website. Again, like we said, share, share, share. We want you to take these resources and disseminate them and use them as much as you need. So now you've heard a little bit more about our tools, trainings, and resources. We want to ask you a question. What REMS TA Center products and services are you looking forward to using the most? What have we talked about today that really excites you, or what's something new that you learned about? Or is there something that we didn't talk about that you are aware of that you're looking forward to learning more about? If you just type in your answer, we'll take a look at that. Site assess, excitement about site assess. It's fantastic. And on-site training. We actually do have an on-site site assess training. It's adapted for the K-12 audience, but it's a great one too. Developing emergency operations plans. You know, our whole website is actually aligned to that federal guidance, so you'll find resources all over it that help with all aspects of emergency planning and developing those high-quality plans. The toolbox. Yep, we love being able to share practitioner tools there. So if you have any that you've developed that you would like to share with others, please use the submit button on that page to send us over what you've created yourself. On-demand training resources, yep. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody. So now I will hand things over to Janelle to cover ways that we have to engage with us.
Thanks so much, Bronwyn. So in addition to the tools, resources, and trainings that we offer to higher ed institutions, we encourage you to engage with us throughout the year. We attend conferences and other in-person events across the country, participate in awareness campaigns, and we also lead Twitter chats online, including the one that we'll be hosting directly following this webinar. So if there are questions that we're not able to answer during the Q&A session, we definitely recommend that you follow us at REMS TA Center and join us for a Twitter chat there. So as I mentioned, we participate in conferences throughout the year as exhibitors to increase awareness of our products and services, as well as participating as presenters to provide TA and to impart knowledge of critical campus safety topics. In cases that we're unable to attend in person, we make arrangements with host organizations and partners to send materials for dissemination. So if there are any state or local events that you have coming up and you need resources for support, we're always interested in kind of taking a look at those events for which we can provide support. And those events that you see on your screen right now are just some of those that we have attended to support the higher ed community, including the Emergency Management Higher Ed Symposium hosted by our partners at FEMA, which some of you may have attended as well, the Disaster Resilient Universities Summit, as well as the IACLEA events, and just most recently, the National Association of Student Personal Administrators Mental Health Conference. And that was a really great event at which we were able to have great conversations with a lot of key practitioners in the field. So again, we welcome invitations to support your event however we are able to, so always keep us in mind. As we mentioned earlier, we feature national awareness campaigns on the homepage of our website. And they range in duration from a single day to a week to an entire month. For example, we have supported National Preparedness Month in September, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month in October, and Infrastructure Security Month in November. Another campaign we are proud to participate in every year is the Great Shakeout Earthquake Drills, which is held on every Thursday of October, and it's every third Thursday of October, excuse me. And so it's really a great opportunity to practice drop, cover, and hold on each year, and to improve your institution's earthquake preparedness overall. So we have a web page dedicated to this campaign and activities you can engage in before, during, and after the drill. So make sure to check that out. We promote awareness campaigns because we recognize that it's important to build a culture of preparedness on college campuses. And these campaigns can be tools that you use to create awareness amongst your students, staff, and faculty, and also to support participation in planning activities. Several campaigns offer targeted messaging and social media toolkits for organizations, and we encourage you to check those out as well and see if there are any state-led campaigns that you can participate in as well. So on that note, we would like to hear from you on this topic. We're always interested in learning about additional awareness campaigns that we might not know about and that we need to promote. So if you could share with us right now, what awareness campaigns do you participate in within your education agencies? And feel free to share details about national campaigns and maybe statewide campaigns as well. Feel free to type those in right now, and your answers will be shared with the whole group. It looks like Shakeout so far is the winner. And I also see National Safety Month, which is awesome. We've seen that mirrored in a lot of states as well, and have been able to, share resources during those Twitter chats and other collaborative events. University-based updates to the faculty on a monthly basis by our campus security department. That's awesome. And we participate in monthly calls with a variety of groups who support campus and school safety on the state and national level, and we really find those valuable in terms of learning key information that we can use to continue to support the field. So again, please, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. And do not hesitate to share any campaigns that you're going to be participating in, and we'd love to find a way to include them on our site as well as to share them on Twitter. And that's a perfect segue into our Twitter chats that we host throughout the year on predetermined themes. And we do this because, again, we want to have that opportunity to have conversations with you. So make sure you chime in and answer those questions that we pose, and to ask us questions as well. Just last week, we hosted a REMS chat with an expert Twitter chat on higher ed campus safety with one of our experts, Louis Eakins from Idaho State University. And so when you have a moment, you can read through the Twitter chat by searching REMS chat with an expert via Twitter. And we've also hosted chats on community partnerships with the National Center for Campus Public Safety, on integrating students with access and functional needs with Anne Marie McLaughlin of New York University, and on cybersecurity considerations. So again, we are going to be hosting a Twitter chat directly following this webinar, and we encourage you to join us there if you have additional questions, and to also invite a colleague. And with that, I'm going to turn things back to Allison. Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle. And now it's time to engage with us right now. We'll begin answering questions that you have submitted to us already, but we encourage you to continue to send us your questions as they come to you during this session by using our Q&A pod on your screen. Questions will be answered in the order that they appear and as time permits. So our first question is, will this slide deck be made available? And the answer is absolutely. All of our webinars are archived and recorded and placed on our website within 7 business days following the event. So we encourage you to check back in about 7 business days and share this webinar recording with your colleagues. Our second question from the field is, do these materials and assessments stop at response, or do they get into recovery and contingency or continuity planning? That's a great question. So our tools are definitely designed to build the capacity and preparedness before, during, and after possible events. That brings in not just response, but definitely recovery and continuity as well. So using site assessment as an example, it does facilitate a critical activity that must be done in advance to inform planning, policy, and budget decisions. But over time, it can be used to demonstrate growth, and it can verify damage after an incident, which ultimately informs recovery efforts as well as continuity of operations. All right, we have another question from the field. What is REMS doing to, and this question is for Madeline at the department, what is REMS doing to assist K-12 and institutions of higher education with coronavirus planning?
Thank you, Allison, and thank you for that question. So currently we are working with our partners and we are developing applicable resources for schools. Right away, the U.S. Department of Education has stood up a web page on COVID-19 or the coronavirus. It includes the link to the CDC's webpage to get the most up-to-date and current information, as well as a link to the guidance for higher ed and the guidance for K-12 schools. And then from there, it also has a link to the REMS TA Center, which has some additional materials for planning before, during, and after possible infectious disease outbreaks and such. So again, if you have specific questions or needs, we encourage you to reach out to the TA Center. So we work in collaboration on all of our content, and so please continue those questions. You're also welcome to send an email to the U.S. Department of Education at covid-19@ed.gov, or send it to the REMS TA Center team, and we'll also be happy to respond to the questions there. And that is info@remstacenter.org. Allison, did you want to elaborate on the page that is dedicated to infectious disease and explain to folks how to get there?
Absolutely. Thanks, Madeline. We know that this is a topic of conversation right now, and so we've updated our homepage carousel that Bronwyn discussed earlier with an item that takes you directly to our infectious disease planning page. I think Janelle talked about earlier the resource-specific, topic-specific resources hub that we have on our website, and that is a wealth of information. We have an entire page dedicated to biological hazards, which contains information on infectious disease planning, including some guidance that was released by CDC on the coronavirus. But we also, to get back to continuity planning and recovery, we have an entire page dedicated to continuity of operations. And so we encourage you to check out all those different pages. There's over 20 topics that we have developed pages to support. and those contain documents and web pages and websites from federal partners that we recommend you check out.
And I'll just add, this is Bronwyn, that you know, the situation is changing very quickly, and obviously everyone's concerned. And there is a conversation going on over on the Disaster Resilient Universities Network. If you're not a member of that as a higher ed institution, we highly recommend it. So there's a lot of practitioner conversations over there that are discussing resources and updates, and it's a good supportive environment. And I put a link to that in the web links pod if you're not familiar and want to learn more about it.
That was an excellent addition.
Excellent. Yeah, agreed. Thank you so much, Madeline and Bronwyn. Our next question is, can you put together a list of monthly awareness campaigns? We're trying to do a table every month, but we have a hard time determining what to display. I think I'll answer this question. I think that this is a good reminder that we're always happy to help in whatever way we can. And so this would be a good example of sending us an email or calling our help desk line, and we can assist in pulling information that's relevant to your request.
Excellent. And then this is Madeline. I'm going to add as well. So this is one of the examples of how we work with our partners and get great benefit. So there is a calendar that's been put out by FEMA and its ready.gov teams. And so we work hard to align with their calendar, and they take input from us as well. And then furthermore, we've kind of organized some of our work this past year, which you're going to see more over the next 8 months, and we've designed them based on those calendars. And so we encourage you again to follow us on Twitter as well. And then another example is, as you have heard us mention some other organizations, another one that Allison and Janella referenced was the Shakeout. That's a great example, wherein there is the National Preparedness Month in September and the Great Shakeout in October, the season to raise awareness to earthquakes and all of the steps we can take to mitigate the effects of one vary around the country. So currently the Midwest right now is deeply engaged in shakeout conversation. And as institutions of higher education, you might not be as familiar with the tools and resources as others are, such as in the K-12 community, but we highly encourage you to go there, and it's an excellent starting point, or we have resources of theirs on our site. We work in collaboration with them as well. But I did want to take a moment to just express such joy and admiration that you have a table out and you change it every month, and it just sounds like there's probably a few more characteristics to that initiative that are powerful. I'm hoping or imagining that you occasionally have persons at the table interacting with your community, and I just think it's a fantastic way to not only raise awareness, but in the higher ed community to cultivate engagement with your student body, since they play such a powerful role in preparedness and then response and recovery. So thank you.
Agreed. Thanks, Madeline. Our next question is, do you specifically cater to two-year community colleges or four-year colleges? Are both audiences eligible for resources? So we definitely serve public. Go ahead, Bronwyn, thank you.
No, you're fine. The answer is absolutely yes. You support all higher ed institutions, so whether it's public or private, two-year, four-year, we are here to support you in your unique needs. And, you know, over time we recognize that there are some differences, whether it's housing or research facilities or stadiums between institutions, and it's not even just 2-year, 4-year, but large or small, and of course the location, and that's true of all education agencies. So we try to provide resources that are helpful to as many institutions as we can. We make our resources broadly applicable, but we also, Allison mentioned earlier, our TA support, that's really where we can provide some of that personalized support. So if you have a particular need for your institution, or you feel like you're inhabiting a category that you can't find resources specific to, please reach out to us directly, and we can direct you to what we have or find some that would be of benefit to you.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Our next question is, what are the latest trends in school safety for institutions of higher education? So I will start and say that in addition to what we're seeing with COVID-19, another very popular topic is trauma-informed drills and exercises. We know that there's been a lot of focus on becoming more trauma-informed and incorporating that into your training, into your drills and other exercises. We hosted a webinar last year on this topic with Dr. Marlene Wong from University of Southern California, and so we encourage you to check that out. Fantastic. But another topic that we've been seeing a lot of focus on, and specifically the higher ed community, has been on emergency operations centers and policy groups, as well as resources that support incident response teams. And we've been pulling resources from your peers and colleagues and inserting those into our REMS TA Center toolbox that we mentioned earlier. And so we encourage you to check that out and see some of those resources that are supporting EOC development and maintenance directly from our website. All right. Another question from the field is, what does the REMS TA Center offer that I can't get somewhere else? And this is for the REMS team.
Chanel, do you want to take this one? Or would you like me to? Well, I can respond to that. So we do provide customized support for education agencies. We've talked a lot about the services that we have to offer. We provide trainings. We are here to serve you with responsive technical assistance. So we really have that in-person and team available to support you. As I said, we have free services and products, so I know that you hear from the field a lot about, from a lot of vendors that sell products and tools, and there's a lot of, need from the field. We often hear for these kinds of tools and resources that are answered by vendors, and we try to fill a lot of those needs for you so that you can spend funds on other things and help to build up your capacity in other ways. Thanks, Chanel. Did you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to add that, I think one of the key things that we always like to emphasize and share is, collaboration. And that's really a big theme in school and campus safety, and much of the work that we do cannot be done, without that collaboration. And for us, that includes collaboration with state, local, federal, and national partners. And so we really, I think, we value ourselves in that we strive to take advantage of every opportunity that we can to collaborate, particularly with our federal partners. And so if you're just getting to know us, you'll see by, taking a moment to visit our site that a lot of the resources that we have created, a lot of the webinars that we offer and our online courses were developed in collaboration with our partners. And so we're in constant communication with each other. I think Madeline, spoke a little bit about COVID and the work that she's doing right now with CDC. And, we really want to make sure that the resources that we create really work in collaboration with the resources that our federal, national, state, and local partners are also sharing across the field. So, again, if you were on Twitter right now, if you have any additional questions, we're here and ready to answer them for you as well.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you all. And one more point I wanted to make was that our resources always promote incorporating access for the whole school community, which means ensuring that access and functional needs are met, and also encouraging IHEs to ensure that privacy and individual civil rights are respected. And so this concludes our webinar. We'd like to thank everyone for joining today. As Janelle mentioned, we're on Twitter right now, and we encourage you to join us there. Just use the hashtag #ChatWithREMS and tag us at REMS TA Center. We'll be there for the next 30 minutes, and we look forward to seeing you over there. And thank you once again for joining us today. Please remember that you can connect to your National School Safety Center in a variety of ways, including our toll-free phone line and info@remstacenter.org. Thank you again for your time today, and this concludes the webinar. We'll see you on Twitter for our chat.